10 to 5, I make no apology for feeling passionate about what is about to happen in Bali with the Indonesian government. It is death by government, what's about to go on there. Two men who have, by all accounts, from many people, they have rehabilitated, they've become better people. They deserved a ruddy good punishment, a big one. They deserved a long time in jail. What they did was an evil thing, trying to smuggle these drugs into Australia. But the thought of putting them to death, and these are not easy deaths, you might think that they're all nice and, an exotic location and blindfolds and cigarettes in the mouth and last words. But they will be shot and then they'll writhe for a while, for several minutes, before their body finally packs in and they die. It is not a romantic, awful thing. A romantic thing. It is an awful thing. It is ghastly. Reverend Christy Buckingham is on the line, a Melbourne pastor who originally made a note when these two men were caught, made a note in her own prayer diary that said, "How dumb can you get and still breathe? Nevertheless, Lord, show your mercy." That's what she wrote in 2005. Since then, she's actually become friends with these two men. Continues to visit them, has done so several times, and she's on the line. Reverend, thank you for your time.
That's a pleasure, Justin.
It is amazing the way that you have changed. That note you made in 2005 and what has happened now, an incredible journey.
Absolutely, and I never would have thought that I would have been up to my neck in this. And like you, I agree that they do need to spend a long time in jail. They already spent a decade. They did a crime, but and people say, well, they should pay the time. We're asking that they get the opportunity to pay the time and not get executed.
You would have many times with them, Reverend, very quiet moments in that prison and a long time of reflection. What do they say to you? What words do they say to you?
To be honest, for the most part, they are very upbeat because they're very focused on living in the moment. They're very focused on redeeming the time that they have. But the biggest heartache is the fact that, I guess right now, the biggest heartache is that they have done everything that they were told to do in terms of rehabilitation and reform, and have done that well. And now they're left in this quandary that even though the Indonesian justice system allows for rehabilitation, in fact, it states in the Constitution that if the condemned rehabilitates, they will not be executed.
Yeah.
Now in this quandary that, well, we've done this, and now what happens? But things like family, missing, and the shame that they've caused the family, the guilt that they have carried, affects them. But mostly they're just working out how can they skill the people who they know will get out. How can they help them to not come back again?
I think this is an important question, Reverend. Do you believe them? Do you believe their rehabilitation? I mean, is it at the very core of their being, or is it just simply because they were facing death?
No, it's at the very core of their being. And interestingly, there's a photograph of Andrew walking in the latest media with a red shirt on, and he's got a whole page of notes in his hand. And those notes, my husband was there at the time that Myuran was refused clemency. Those very notes were for him to sit down with my husband, who's had 30 years' experience in dealing with people, to actually work out how he can better help people there. And when we go there, that's what we talk about. He's studying to do a ministry certificate, and he's studying, the old-fashioned way with books and, assignments sent back by either visitors or snail mail. And they're doing an incredible job, same as Mayu is doing his fine arts degree. And if he lives to the end of the year, he will have graduated. And so this is not just something that is a momentary thing.
Yeah.
They are constantly telling us of the needs that are there and coming up with ideas. We don't spoon feed them. They come up with the ideas, they come up with the strategies, and it's real. It is real.
Because you can understand how people would be sceptical that 8 kilos of drugs, having very little care for the people that would be injecting those drugs, living a life of selfishness to turn around. like that. But look, they have, and as I've said many times, the big heartache in this is you finally turn these people into decent human beings, and then you take them out to the jungle in the middle of the night and you shoot them.
I couldn't agree with you more, Justin. And this is the whole problem. Why not use what they've learned to help the others that will go out? I took my teenage daughter in there. My teenager can go where she wants when she's there within reason. And she said, no, I want to go into Kerobokan because it calibrates me. It makes me see what's important.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you would sit down and speak to these guys, or if there was an opportunity to actually write out something about them, these are the voices we need for the next decades in our schools.
I would dearly love to interview the two of them and take that time for lots of reasons. Christy, thank you very much for talking to us. Reverend Christy Buckingham, Melbourne pastor. There's a good article about her in the Sydney Morning Herald today on page 5, but we will stay in contact and we'll come back after this.